Thank you, Rich. His death shocked and surprised fans around the world. Legendary rocker David Bowie passed away Sunday after an 18-month battle with cancer. Though his family hasn't confirmed exactly what kind of cancer Bowie had, according to a close friend, he suffered from liver cancer. There are also reports the 69-year-old fought back from 6 heart attacks in the past year. But he did manage to release his final album, Black Star, released Friday on his 69th birthday. Joining us to talk about this is Dr. Scott Ackerman from the Ackerman Cancer Center. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Bruce.
Let's talk about David Bowie. There's speculation that it started as lung cancer, spread to the liver, or maybe it was just liver cancer. Either way, both are very tough to battle.
Absolutely. And liver cancer, all we know is liver cancer. So as you said, is this something that spread from the lung or somewhere else? So the most common tumor of the liver is actually a tumor that's spread there. The most common cancer of the liver is a cancer that's spread there from some other part of the body. And so the speculation is that since David Bowie was male, which is a good instance of lung cancer
and he
in
smoked.
males, and he smoked, that it could be lung cancer that spread to his liver. Or primary liver cancer, what we call hepatocellular carcinomas, begin liver. They happen less frequently, but also the hepatocellular carcinomas are increasing in prevalence, and so it could be a primary liver cancer.
And in either case, with that diagnosis, I understand the survival rate is very small, something like 17% for both.
Right. A patient who has lung cancer or some other cancer, colon cancer, that spreads to the liver, usually those patients have a very, very low survival rate. Hepatocellular carcinoma, however, one that begins in the liver, if caught early, there's a decent survival rate. Unfortunately, most hepatocellular carcinomas are caught when it's too large to remove surgically, and it's too late. It's because when they grow and they're very small, there's no symptoms. So we don't know they're even there. And so the ones that are cured are ones that are found serendipitously when a patient has a CAT scan for some other reason.
Now, he hadn't been seen in public except on 1 or 2 very rare occasions for 18 months. And the speculation is that he was too ill, basically, to go out. And actually, as we talk about this, I want to show you his last video, because it's clear that he was sending a message to his fans with this music video. He's lying there in a hospital bed. You can see that he's bandaged. And it's his way of saying that I fought this battle and I'm telling you goodbye. He didn't go public with it, but are both of these cancers lingering that he would have had an 18-month-long fight?
Yes, in both liver cancer or lung cancer that spreads to the liver, those patients, the 18 months is a little bit long, but it is within the normal range of a patient who has a sort of cancer. Most patients who have cancers of the lung that spread to the liver, most of them succumb to that cancer in 6 to 12 months, maybe 14 months. So 18 months is a little long, but it's not outside the realm of possibility. And if it was a tumor that began in the liver, those patients as well, that's about the long end of the median survival.
What would they have done to try and mitigate the cancer, the traditional therapies?
Well, if it's caught early in the liver and there's no other sign of cancer elsewhere in the body, you can remove it surgically. You can provide radiation treatments to it, which we do, or patients also receive chemotherapy. So he could be receiving he could have been receiving chemotherapy, some sort of targeted chemotherapy for the tumor in the liver, and that would have helped him to live a longer time. There's actually been a new, if it was a primary liver cancer, hepatocellular carcinoma, there's some new drugs that were recently approved by the FDA that are being used in clinical trials that have been fairly effective for them. But again, not really curing them, but increasing the survival.
And what's the quality of life with those drugs?
It's not too bad. These more targeted therapies, as we've talked about before, because they're targeting the cancer and the genetic malformations specific to that cancer, they really have a lot less side effects than conventional chemotherapy. But they're still draining on the body. It makes a person weak and fatigued. It depresses their immune system, so they're more subject to getting pneumonias and infections and things like that.
So there's still a battle.
It's still a battle, but not as treatments these days are not as devastating as the systemic treatments that we've given in the past.
Dr. Scott Ackerman from the Ackerman Cancer Center, thank you very much. It is 8:21, and we'll be right back.